Work it just a little bit. 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 Work it just a little bit.
Well, in the middle, all the alley wanna bump and everybody who just made the beat snuck up in the truck. Folk heard the new thing, man, I'm trying to do. I heard what you, dog, man, I'm trying to live. Well, in the middle, all the alley wanna bump and everybody who just made the beat snuck up in the truck. Folk heard the new thing, man, I'm trying to do. I heard what you, dog, man, I'm trying to live.
Hi, and welcome to the Soluri No Guts, No Glory Hour on this Friday the 13th of December.
December, right?
I was a little thrown.
Honey,
Yeah, it's
you forgot
December.
to do this.
The No Guts, No Glory Hour.
There you go.
But before we go any further tonight, I want to send, Vinny and I both want to send our prayers and condolences to the family of Ryan Marshall. We lost a wonderful young man in our community this week, and our hearts go out to the family and friends of Ryan. He was an amazing kid. But with that said, I just want to welcome everybody to the show tonight, and I want to just give a shout out to Lisa Weckerly Anderson, a high school chum, who actually put us in touch with our guest tonight, Joe Pomarico, who is really a very interesting young man. But with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Vinny, because I think he wants to say a few words.
Yeah, I just want to tell everybody, hey, we're back. It's Friday. It's a whole nother week. We're on our new Christmas set. You know, I hope I don't look too fat right now. But this is our new set. I mean, for the Christmas season. And
So why would you look fat? Because we're in a new set.
Because I am fat. So
Okay.
I was trying to blame it on the cameras and the scene there. Okay. Trying to hide behind it. But I'd like to give a shout out to Mike Roccandino, a good friend of mine.
Good old Italian boy.
Yeah, nice Irish kid.
Roccandino, Pomarico, we got it all.
The Beeve, Webb. He was strolling across YouTube and he found our show. He called me up. He was like tickled pink. He was laughing. He loved it. And he'll be a regular watcher. And I just wanted to welcome him and thank him. I want to thank
A
Vinny.
watcher?
Yeah,
You mean a viewer?
A viewer. A watcher.
A watcher.
One of these things. A watcher. Vinny and Keith for the haircut down at Vinny's Barber Shop down in Coram on 112. Shout out to you. Thank you, buddy. And with that, I guess we could just open and introduce our special guest tonight.
Yeah, our guest is amazing because I had a chance to speak with him for the past hour, and it's Mr. Joe Pomarico. Welcome to our show tonight.
It's great to be here.
Oh my God, it's really great to have you. Joe is
He's a paisan.
He's a paisan, first of all, but he dotes many titles, actually. Filmmaker, director. He's also an amazing painter, which we're going to talk about all of that. But did I miss anything else, another title? Because I know you
just, write, direct, edit, paint. I try to do as much as I can.
The more shit you throw to the wall, the more chance you have something to stick, right?
Exactly.
Well, you got a lot
but
of stuff that's
you're very
sticking.
good at all you do, so that's a plus too.
Thank you.
You know.
Just want to say we actually have someone in common.
Yes.
Since childhood, since kindergarten, Frankie Jordanella, who I grew up with, was my paper boy and my neighbor. He's your uncle.
Yes, he's my uncle.
So let's give a shout out. Frankie Jordanella, how you doing, Uncle Frank? But anyway, Joe.
Yeah.
To get started with you, because you have a lot to tell us about, you're 28 years old.
Yes.
28 years young, actually. Tell us how this whole thing started with your talent for, whether it be writing,
Yeah, sure. Well, what happened was that what started everything was that when I was 7 years old, my grandfather was an artist, and he taught me how to paint when I was 7. Landscapes with oils, and then eventually moved on to acrylics. So when I was young, I learned about composition, depth, perspective. And since I was a kid, I always loved movies. I always wanted to make movies. And I guess just by learning how to paint, I was bred to, almost learn how to frame a shot.
Right.
I always had these visions of like different camera angles, and like I'm always constantly thinking of new ideas. And I always saw myself like living in a movie, where it's like I could be walking down the street and there'll be like a leaf blowing beside my feet, and I'll just see the leaf following me as my feet continue to walk down the sidewalk. Just like these things you can't really explain, they just keep popping into my head, and so movie making was always what I wanted to do. And with the art, it's just something that came natural when my grandfather just kind of nurtured it for me. And so then from then on, after high school, I went to college for it, and then that's when I started making movies.
Now let me ask you this: in high school, were you in drama? Did you do any of that, the plays or anything?
I was
like
totally against drama club. Like
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
you know, I was a painter in school. Like everyone knew me as an artist. I drew tattoos for people.
West Babylon, right?
West
Should we
Babylon,
say? So
yeah.
shout out
Yeah,
to
West Babylon High
Yeah,
School. If
there
you guys
go.
still like
The
me
other
over there.
Eagles. I'm
Yeah.
a Kopech
Oh
guy.
yeah, that's right. So yeah, I mean, I was known as like an artist, but I never like, you know, was just kind of like, I never thought I would pursue art as a career. I never wanted. I thought it was just a hobby of mine.
Well, back in school, when you're young in school,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's different now, but you don't think that far ahead when you're younger in your years in school. You know what I mean? Most kids don't really think.
No, it's very rare, and that's
It
the
is
thing. It's
rare.
like I had the art where people probably would think that they would want to do, you know, if they had that, they
That
would just
talent,
do it.
right.
But me, I was more like, nah, this is a hobby. I always wanted to do movies. I knew that since I was like in junior high school. Like,
Really?
Did you ever
movie
try doing
directing,
tattoos?
Drawing? Actually, be a
Doing the
tattoo
thing?
artist?
Yeah.
No, I don't trust myself on someone's skin.
Yeah, with a
Forever
pencil.
and ever.
Because you know
I
what
got
it
you.
is? Like many times with the canvas, and if something's not right, I'll tear
Yeah,
it
it
apart.
takes a
So I'm gonna start
huge
ripping
sense-
somebody
Rip people's
apart.
arm.
Like this sucks. I can't do it.
You're
you
gonna
know?
need a new arm.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
huge
yeah.
sense of
Or chop
confidence
it.
you would need to be a tattoo artist, I would
Right.
think.
Yeah.
Now, where'd you go to college?
I went to Catherine Gibbs. I had my associate's degree there, and then I went to Five Towns College for 2 years. But so I didn't finish, but that's all the schooling I went for it.
Sometimes it's not all about schooling.
No, I actually went to.
If you have the
yeah,
creativity, you have a gift.
Absolutely. Like when I went to Gibbs, I learned editing there, the editing software. And actually, my first semester there, my teacher had us do a film project, an editing project. His name's Stephen Gladstone was the professor, and he played 30 seconds of it, and he stopped it. And he's like, looks at me, he's like, Joe, you ever do this before? You ever done this before? I'm like, no, why? He's like, and then he's like chuckled. He's like, you're gonna go really far, and that sat with my heart like for the longest time, and it still does. So like hearing that,
builder, yeah.
and then I told other professors like, hey, you know, Gladstone said this, and they're like, what? He doesn't.
Right,
say
he's
that.
not the type of guy that says.
He's
something.
learning about this now if he ever watches this, but other people.
He wasn't known to give out compliments very easily. I mean, if you were given a compliment, it had to be very accredited because I guess he'd.
Exactly.
It's
So
not
since
something
then,
he passes around like all the
yeah.
time.
So
Good
since
for
then,
you.
I just knew like, all right, this is. I'm here for a reason, you know. And then I went to Five Towns. Only reason why I went to Five Towns College is because they had all the equipment that I needed to make a movie.
Right.
I feel like nobody could really teach you. Like, and I'm not saying like I'm the greatest, but like I don't feel like nobody could teach you creativity, but they could teach you the tools, and it's a matter
Right.
of how you use the tools. And not only that, it's like you take those tools and you may learn it how to use it one way, but you do it in 10 different ways. Like so, it's kind of like trying to utilize everything you have, and even when you're limited to certain sources. You know, so.
But you knew, again, from a very early age.
Yeah.
You knew you had whatever it takes.
Oh, absolutely.
Inside you.
Absolutely.
And I know you had said, I don't know if we spoke about it previously or if I read it or in your bio that, or you just said it before too, you always had things running through your mind, always.
Yeah.
Your mind never stops.
Well, that's good. You're
Which
you're
is-
always thinking of things. You know, you're always thinking of
Yeah.
putting it together. You know,
Yeah.
what comes next, what would happen, and
Exactly.
you've got a creative mind. You know, and that's good.
And music plays an important role too. You know,
Yeah.
it's music that
Do you
inspires
do you play an instrument or?
I used to play the sax.
Ah, great instrument. It's too bad you.
Smooth.
Can you still
Yeah.
tinker with it a little bit?
No,
Enough
I
to
know
get
nothing
through?
about
Wait,
the
the
sax.
sax and a voice like that, you can't have them both.
Well, we just happen to have a sax on the set here. Excuse
I'll be
me.
like Howlin' Wolf. Someone.
Well, you know what? You don't have time for everything. So how
Yeah.
can you do everything? You're focusing on basically your film career.
Right.
So the first project you wound up doing then, the
Uh,
complete project. was-
My independent short that I did once I finished college was Gus. It's an award-winning film, executive produced and edited by Richard D'Angelo, who was my old professor back in Five Towns College, who is now, you know, a dear friend of mine. Just spoke to him today, actually. And we made this film. It was originally supposed to be my senior thesis, but the film is actually inspired by the true story of me and my grandfather.
It's a great story.
Yeah,
So
and,
go ahead.
it's
So what
a
is
very emotional piece, so you know, bring a box of tissues if you're gonna watch it.
Right.
It's
What was the name of it again?
Gus. It's called Gus. It's on YouTube.
And that's how people could access it. YouTube.
Yeah, you just type in Joe Pomarico on YouTube, and Gus is the name of the film.
Okay.
So it's inspired by the true story of me and my grandfather, because my grandfather taught me how to paint when I was 7 years old.
His name was?
Augustus Massaro.
I love that name.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And
Massaro?
Massaro.
He's got a
You know,
My
cousin.
cousin's from Massaro.
Cousins,
Which cousin?
They're in Massapequa.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe
Kim,
we'll,
Scott, Kim, Ricky,
Yeah.
Laura.
Well, maybe we'll see it.
Yeah,
maybe
Uncle
Maybe
Clem,
there's
Aunt Will.
somewhere
Got to give a
somewhere
shout
in
out
there.
to them.
Yeah. So the thing was is that when my grandfather passed away, he gave me a watch a year before he died, and when he passed away, it actually stopped at the time he died.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's,
I actually carry the watch with me. It's in my wallet, but it's very worn out now.
It's a pocket watch.
No, actually,
Is it
I
pocket
had to
watch?
change that for the film
Okay.
because the pocket watch it seems more beautiful
yeah,
in a way,
okay.
the imagery. It's actually a wristwatch, and
You just got the face of it?
I have the face of it, yeah, and I keep it in my wallet. I haven't left my house without it for, since 2002.
Wow.
Every single
That's really
day till
touching,
this day,
yeah.
yeah. So so it stopped at the time he died. So we made this film, you know, that revolves around time and how I was a young kid growing up and kind of like taking my grandfather's place, you know, and as he got sick and grew old and eventually he just couldn't do it anymore, and he passed away. So then when I was 16, that's when he passed, and then I made the film in 2010 when I was 24, and I literally didn't paint a picture for 8 years.
After his
Yeah.
death.
After his
Right.
death.
So you didn't pick up a brush?
I didn't pick
didn't
up a
touch
brush.
canvas?
Didn't touch a
It
canvas.
was an
for
emotion.
8
It was an
yeah.
emotional thing.
Very
that
emotional.
you-
It just wasn't the same. You know, it was just always there over my shoulder, and it just wasn't the same. And that's how like. So then when we made the film, I was like, you know, I gotta paint again. You know, I can't have anyone else's artwork
Wow,
in
that's
my
cool.
film.
Yeah,
I gotta.
I
So
think
all the
that's,
paintings you see is my original
simple.
artwork. Not painting for 8 years.
The paintings, by the way, are amazing. When you watch the
They're in the
short
film.
Yes.
they're beautiful. I mean, they're truly
Yeah.
beautiful. You are truly talented,
Truly
and you were
amazing.
given
Thank you.
a true gift
Was
handed down
Grandpa
from your
like that
grandfather.
too? Could he paint it like that too?
Oh, he was better
Well,
than
that's
me.
where he
I think he's
learned it
better
from.
than
He
me.
was-
Well,
My
I
grandmother
know-
would say
yeah, some-
differently.
some-
but-
Now, and where
Yeah.
are all his paintings? I mean, who has them? Are they
My
scattered
family.
throughout the
They're
family?
scattered throughout the
Everybody has a
family.
piece,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's an heirloom. Everybody got a piece of,
yeah.
right? That's pretty cool. Man.
Yeah. So like I mean I just got into like an art gallery a few weeks ago actually too for an art show.
And where is that?
It was in the Greenpoint Gallery in Brooklyn.
Okay.
It was a competition, but that was the first time I ever did that. I never thought to do art as a career, but I'm actually trying to get into selling my artwork too. So
Great,
if people are
that's
interested in
fabulous.
buying
Oh,
artwork as
that's
well,
fabulous.
you know, but the thing is that with painting is that, you know, it's something that I always saw myself passing it down. Like when I have a family and stuff, like I would like to like pass that down to my kids or
It's like it would
grandkids.
be traditional.
Yeah, just I always wanted to keep in the family, and I always felt that way since I was like a young teenager, thinking about that kind of future at that young age. I'm an
Right.
old soul.
So,
Yeah, which
I'm
is
a- I'm
great.
an old
Yeah,
soul.
yeah.
so
I
people
agree
need
that
to
with-
people need to buy your paintings now.
Yeah,
Well, then give them a little cheaper because
Please.
when they start going, baby, they go up and
I
up
could
and
use the money too.
up. I can use them.
So when you wrote the story, Gus,
Yeah.
when you wrote the story, Gus, it was what year again now?
I wrote it in 2008
Oh,
originally.
whatever.
We didn't film the film. We didn't
10?
film it to 2010 yet.
And
So-
it must be a touching thing for your whole family. I mean, I don't know if your grandmother
Absolutely.
survived. Is she still
Oh, my
alive?
grandmother's still alive.
Okay, so for
83.
her-
Grandma.
Hey, Graham.
Yeah, gotta give her a shout out. So
Um,
she must be extremely touched to see the
Yeah.
film.
Oh,
and-
yeah. They all
and,
like bawled like babies because I literally, that's the thing. And Sal Richards, the star who played Gus, amazing talent. He's a very well-known comedian. He did an amazing job, and we worked together like beautifully because he literally to the T like was my grandfather.
Really?
Like we worked at it and like his mannerisms, everything. My family were blown away by it. They thought they were watching him. On
See,
the
that's
screen.
when you know somebody
Right.
is so true to their skill.
Yeah.
You know, it's not easy to play somebody. Okay, not everybody knew your grandfather, but to your
Right,
family,
right.
they could tell if it was authentic.
Exactly.
But you have somebody in movies that we go to the theater and
Yeah.
see, like when Will Smith played Muhammad Ali.
What about
you know,
Dickie Eklund? We had him here 3 weeks ago.
Dickie Eklund. He was a
Yeah.
guest on our show from the movie The Fighter,
He was
and Christian
portrayed.
Bale portrayed him and won the
Right.
Academy Award for
Oh,
supporting
he was on the
actor.
show?
Yeah, he was on the show
Yeah.
3 weeks ago.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Christian Bale was amazing.
Shout out
you
to
know.
Dickie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So,
Leslie.
I love that movie. Christian
And-
Bale did an amazing
oh
job.
yeah,
Amazing
and
job.
Vinny's friends with Dickie, so he
Yeah.
he knew him. Like you and I, really, most people didn't really know Dickie as a
Right,
personality.
right.
Yeah.
He knew him as a friend, and he
Wow.
said how
Well, I knew his
authentic.
mom,
Yeah.
God rest her soul. I knew his sisters. I knew his
Wow.
brother, Mickey, his wife, Charlene. I mean, I knew Casey. I knew the whole family. I mean, I
Yeah.
spent the night over his house 3 weeks ago before the show. And then we took the ferry over here because he's in Boston.
Oh,
In
nice.
Lowell.
So-
Lowell, sorry.
So getting back to the movie,
Yeah.
it's considered a short film,
Yes. It's
Okay.
9 minutes long.
and it was in the Indie Film Festival.
It was in the Long Island International Film Expo. It won the best Long Island short there.
And that was your
That's
first film?
fantastic.
That was my first film after college, yeah. My
That's
first
so
independent.
exciting.
And one.
And
Yeah,
one.
That's
How
amazing.
does that feel?
Feels great.
Yeah, it's
That
amazing.
That really
Yeah.
itches you like you got to do
Yeah,
more.
I know.
You
I
got to
know.
do more.
And it won the Staten Island Film Festival too.
Nice.
Actually, that was a memorable moment because at the award ceremony there was 600 people there,
Wow.
and when we won, it won the best short film actually overall in Staten Island and Audience Choice Award. And Sal actually made a speech with me, and we went up there together on the last award, the big one, and he was like, I've done all these films. You'll see it. There's a video of the speech, but he's like, I've done all these films. These like these stupid gangster pictures, Out for Justice, and because he did like Steven Seagal. He was in
Right.
The Godfather as well, and he's like, but this kid turned me into a real actor, and that was probably one of the
Wow.
greatest compliments.
That's-
I don't believe it, but
And at that time,
That's
you
so-
were
that's
what,
a compliment.
25?
yeah,
I was
it's-
25.
and I was 25 years old, and then like I
Accolades
was
and,
consumed. I was just consumed by all these people at the end of the ceremony, and I couldn't believe what was happening. I thought I was like
And do you get a plaque or a trophy or?
Yeah, I got two trophies.
Wow,
two
that's cool.
It really is a beautiful
Yeah.
film, and I urge everyone.
Yeah, so you won best short film and audience choice.
Best short overall and audience choice there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you went up there twice to receive an award.
Yeah.
That's
It's
nice.
pretty
And I
amazing.
do, again, I started to say, I urge everybody to go onto YouTube
Yeah.
and put in Joe Pomarico, Gus is the movie. It's a 9-minute film.
9 minutes.
Everybody has 9 minutes to take time out and watch this and see how talented. At his first project that
Yeah.
won awards, what a great film. Obviously, it speaks volumes.
And I have to say, like with as well as John Rosario, Richard D'Angelo. John Rosario was the director of photography. He is amazing talent as well. We went to college together. All my college buddies.
It's
worked
beautifully
on it.
filmed, and as well as the music in the background is
Oh yeah, what is it? It's Bach.
it's all Bach. It's just
It's just
beautiful.
one-
It's
yeah.
so apropos for the movie.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful piece. It really is.
Richard D'Angelo edited it